on the one hand, Marvel is canceling these books because the sales aren't there. But on the other hand, Marvel didn't necessarily do a lot to get the sales out there for some of these books.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Dal, I'm excited for this holiday episode of Contest of Challengers.
That's out of character. Why, Patrick?
Well, because number one, as this is a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel podcast network.
First time hearing of it.
Business has been decent this last week.
Yeah, boy, it's a lot more fun to do these when it's not all doom and gloom and hanging on by our fingernails.
Honestly, it's fun to go to work.
Sure, man.
When you have a store full of people who all want to buy things from you.
We've talked about this before. There's Wednesdays where we have 100 people in and we're doing great business, and at the end of the night I'm like, man, I could do this for 8 more hours. And then there's Wednesdays where we have 60 people in and we do next to no business, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so wiped. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I mean, it's just depression, basically, but it just feels so exhausting to have no one in, and it feels so fun to have a ton of people in.
Like, people need help. People are looking for things,
sure.
and it's
Folks
always...
got questions, man.
For holiday shopping, it's 2 types of customers. Uh-huh. People that come in with a very specific list.
They have a list on their phone.
They need a thing.
Here are all the things.
They don't know what it is, but they need it.
Yeah, they can read what was written down, or maybe like show you the picture. Here, this. Do we have this?
Or they have the people that are like, what should I get for a 16-year-old who likes BMX racing?
Yeah, those are tricky. Sometimes it's somebody who comes in like, my wife loves Wonder Woman, and she's got some Wonder Woman stuff. What else is there? Or my fiance is big into Watchmen. Like, what else is a thing that he might not have that's Watchmen or whatever? And so that stuff can be fun in that you're recommending things, but the problem is when you're recommending things to a comics fan who's like, I'm into Watchmen, or I'm into BMX bike racing, or I'm into Wonder Woman, you can say this, and immediately they'll look at it and go, that sounds interesting, or that's not what I'm looking for. When you're doing it for gifts, there's this extra layer of, I don't know if they've got that, or I'm not
you
sure
really
if
have
they'd
to sell
like
them on
that.
it.
Like, you have to explain, like, not, like, usually when you're pitching a book to a person, you're trying to explain, like, based on what you've told me that you like, here's why I think you would like this. And you have to do a version of that for the gift-buying person, but you also have to kind of lace it with, they're going to love this. Like, you not just have to sell them on what it is and why someone might like it, you really have to go, you have to work on their confidence.
Yeah.
To get them to pull the trigger on it. You have to make them aware, like, basically it's if I got this as a gift, I would love it. So that makes them a little bit more confident, like, oh, this is a good thing, instead of talking about the merits of it, which they have no familiarity with. Those merits are meaningless to them.
I was talking with someone today, and I'm trying to remember the instance to make this a better story than it's going to be, but it actually made me realize that sometimes I approach these gift suggestions wrong because I'm too close to the material.
Sure.
I know too much about it, and I know, like, I need to back up and think of it as a gift for somebody who's just kind of into it, and I can't remember what it was I was suggesting and what I thought of it. But can you guess, and you won't be able to, it's a weird thing.
Okay, then no one can.
The most requested item today, and we had it at the beginning of the day, we had 1 copy, and we sold it, and we got multiple phone calls for it later in the day for gifts for people.
Apple AirPods.
No, the thing we had and sold, it wasn't. We don't. No, I mean, we didn't sell AirPods.
You just said I couldn't guess it, so
what? But you did. But you did. You tried to guess.
I thought I would go way outside the box with the punch.
Hubcaps is always the go-to anyway.
Sure. Okay.
Black Panther Volume 2.
Whoa, weird.
Yeah,
I didn't realize we'd run out so quickly.
We have 1, 3, 4.
Sorry.
It's
we were fully stocked on it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone was buying Volume 2 for some reason.
Yeah, specifically, like, on the phone it was specifically, do you have Black Panther, A Nation Under Our Feet, number 2? Like, that's specific. You're reading that.
Maybe Ta-Nehisi Coates went on Twitter and went, hey, if anyone's looking for a gift to buy this season, only get volume 2 of my book. It's the only good one. And people went, all right, sure.
It's the one where it starts to make sense.
He is a genius.
That's what I call it. And I was able to sell other Black Panther stuff. Somebody wanted Black Panther stuff, not comics, and the only thing we have are those blind bag keychains.
Well, come back in January. That's when all the movie merch is going to be out.
Definitely. There's going to. I said there'll be a lot more.
Oh my goodness! Kendrick Lamar's doing a song for the soundtrack, a brand new original track.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess he teased it in one of his. I want to say music videos, but I don't think they're called that anymore. It's more like short films or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
You can say music video. It's okay.
But it has a different term now. Like all of Beyonce's stuff, they weren't music videos. It was like a visual album or something like that. I think is what it was called.
I didn't know that, and that's slightly pretentious.
Oh, not just slightly.
Right before I came home, the last song that was on in the store was a Jackson 5 Christmas song.
It's a good one.
And I couldn't help but notice that Little Michael's voice was so much deeper as a child.
It's true.
Than it was as an adult.
Yeah. His voice Benjamin buttoned.
But Randy definitely wanted a guitar that would guarantee to be staying in tune.
Sure.
And another Jackson wanted a basketball.
Okay.
I believe. I don't remember the lyrics pretty well. Which is odd because it's a song that I've heard most of my life.
Sure. The Christmas song that's stuck in my head this year is one that's on your Christmas playlist. I don't know if it came up on Wednesday, but I'm sure it has by now. It's one of the John Denver Muppet songs.
Yeah.
It's the one that's got the bit in there where it's like, if you haven't got a penny, then a hay penny will do.
Oh, sure. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat.
Specifically, it's the Miss Piggy stuff that I cannot get out of my head.
Because it's funny, because she keeps doing it wrong.
She keeps doing it wrong, yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, she finds out that there's bacon in one of the items in the song.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I forget what it was called, but it's Gonzo that had to tell her, no, it's figs. Oh, okay. And bacon.
Oh, it's figgy pudding.
Figgy pudding, yeah.
And she's like, piggy pudding.
No, figgy pudding. It's made of figs. Oh, okay. And bacon. What?
It's a pretty good piggy.
It's one word. Anybody could get piggy in one word.
It's good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of you to say.
Happy holidays, everybody, from Donovan.
Dal, I discovered something today that makes me want to stay in our current location badly.
Okay, I'm listening.
And we don't have any further information of staying or going.
No.
We haven't heard from our landlord. I don't imagine we'll have an issue staying. I'm just concerned about the rent.
Yeah, the question isn't whether or not they'll let us stay, it's how much they're going to charge us to stay. And that becomes a different conversation.
There's something that I've wanted for a very long time, and it's not a thing that I can get.
Oh my god, Penn Station's opening.
It's
Patrick,
something
I'm excited as well.
that I've wanted to have happen, and what you just said, I can't say you're wrong because I don't know. I don't know what retail will move in at the bottom of the 5-story building that is going to take the place of Jensen Plating Works.
Oh man, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even care. You had me at 5 stories.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I happened to see a public notice.
Oh god, I hope it's up by the end of spring 2018.
On the door of Jensen Plating Works. Jensen Plating Works is a 1-story windowless brick building across the street from Challengers.
That may or may not be involved in human trafficking. I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell.
We don't know what Plating Works is.
It's weird. Usually, like in the non-wintry seasons, there's one guy who comes out at lunchtime who just kind of stands out there.
Yeah, and there's always this
he
weird,
stands in front for like an hour while
vintage
eating lunch.
refrigerator sitting outside sometimes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on there. We never see trucks pull up or go away.
Well, UPS usually goes to us and then to them.
Right, but what are they plating?
Right.
Where are they plating it? Where is it going after they plate it? Anyway.
So, it is a public notice that there's going to be a hearing for this property.
Okay.
Just to make sure there's no, they have to do this for every building. There's no community objection.
I've gone to those before. They are horrible.
Yeah.
And I regretted the one I even went to support a friend.
Yeah.
That I definitely questioned my friendship with them when I was there.
I recall these stories well.
Uh-huh.
They're going to extend the plot back and build a massive condo, apartment, retail.
I wonder if this is going to be I assume it's going to be part of the car lot they just tore down.
I would think so as well.
I can't imagine the plating works is big enough to a footprint, really.
So I see this public notice and I go, what is that? I have to see that. And Gina's making fun of me for it.
Sure.
So I go to the window and I try to take a picture, but he can't zoom in. I'm like, I got to go across the street.
Right.
I got to go. And yeah, it's that.
Here's why we're so excited. Anyone who's ever been inside Challengers, as the sun is setting during a non-winter month, and even some winter months, will notice how unbearably hot the store gets. That's because there is nothing blocking the setting sun across the street from us. However, if a 5-story building went up, it would completely block the setting sun.
Yeah.
And we would no longer have to worry about the sun cooking the interior of the store.
Well, I mean, there's still that alley that's directly across the door.
That's like
right.
20
So
minutes.
my point is, we're not blotting out the sun. We will still get sunshine into the store.
Same as we do when it's right above us.
Yeah.
We just don't have to worry about it beaming directly into the store and making it 15 to 20 degrees hotter than we like.
And I can stop referring to us as an easy bake oven.
Yeah. Oh, man. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Rahm Emanuel got my letters.
I wanted to call you right away, but I thought, no, we're going to be recording tonight.
Yay.
I'm going to lead with that.
Christmas miracle.
For years, we looked out across the street and wondered, because I'm sure when that building was built, it served a purpose.
The whole neighborhood is moving from 1- and 2-story buildings to 3- to 5-story buildings.
Yeah.
Just all of Bucktown. I mean, go up and down Milwaukee and Western, and you'll see so many big buildings going up.
Now, I'm sure there'll be a period of time where a lane of traffic is blocked off for all of their vehicles and supplies and whatnot.
Maybe.
But they put up the one on the corner.
Yeah, the one on Western and Wabansia, or St. Paul?
Yeah.
St. Paul?
Yeah.
I mean, there's, on the street where there would be parking, there's a giant, truck. But, I mean, they haven't closed off a lane yet.
True.
And they've done a lot of construction at this point. I can't imagine the rest of it they would need to close off anything. There's probably going to be a point where, like, the sidewalk will be blocked off for them to finish doing some stuff. The same thing happened when the Starbucks building went up.
So, also, that's however many units more of potential comic fans.
Yeah.
And with that much more retail being in the neighborhood,
sure,
I can't see ours going up. We have a leg to argue with. Look at how many places will be here.
So many, and so much empty commercial. It doesn't seem like they're having problems filling residential spots, but man, a lot of the buildings that have gone up, I have not seen much commercial going in.
Right. Even the one by Starbucks.
The one across the street from Pizza Hut on North Avenue, its office isn't commercial, and I don't see... I think one of the 4 units is actually rented, and they've been up for like over a year.
Yeah.
The one next to Dunkin' Donuts, still nothing there.
2 spots, nothing, yeah.
And that's been a year more. Yeah, so with everything going up, I think we should be able to say, like, hey, let's lock it in at this rate, and we'll stay for another, 2, 3, 5 years, whatever.
For as long as we've been talking about the potential of moving and... literally, this has made me the most excited to say.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm excited about, beyond everything we just talked about, is that if compatible commercial goes in across the street, that makes the idea of us staying open later or different hours more appealing.
Right.
Like, if that's just like another daycare center or whatever.
Or another dance studio.
Yeah. Or goddamn coffee shop. I mean, I think you can walk about 50 feet without hitting another coffee shop, so clearly one is a necessity. Then that would make it difficult. But if there's like a legit, fast casual kind of restaurant or whatever, or some sort of retail, I don't even know what retail
that Pizza Hut is being torn down, so... But
I don't even know what retail could even open in 2018. Like, what retail exists anymore? I mean, yeah, so frankly...
Nail salons, dry cleaning, cell phone stores...
Yeah, those don't help us a whole lot.
No.
But most of those I wouldn't necessarily consider retail. But yeah, I mean, if like... a non-coffee shop kind of cafe area came in there, that would be great. Probably won't be a Penn Station. Would Subway be at like 100 feet up the street? But still.
You don't know?
Maybe. Shit. I mean, with the number of coffee shops, how about another sandwich shop?
Look at how many, in a food court in a mall, look how many different of the same type of things are around.
I suppose. Yeah, I just don't want to get my hopes up, Patrick. Yeah, maybe it's just the Pizza Hut. There you go. Good news for Plazios. Or Giovanni's. What are they called now?
It's neither. It's something different.
Okay.
I forget.
They should put it on their business.
It's only inside their store.
Okay. Well, they keep it a secret. That's how these things work.
Hey, this is Ashley. Just wishing you a happy holiday and a shiny new year. Be safe.
Not to give you a segue, but like the secret Marvel kept when they didn't announce all of the cancellations that are in the new catalog.
What secret?
Usually when a publisher is ending a series, they'll put something like final issue or last chapter or something. DC does it when they're canceling a book. Or they'll make an announcement saying, hey, these books are ending, just to let fans know this is going to be done. Marvel's decision to do it was both not soliciting new issues in the catalog and just not telling you that these are the final issues that are in the current catalog. So books like Hawkeye that are issue 18, everything on the cover of the solicit indicates this is the end, is not just the end of the storyline, it is the end of the book. And books like Gwenpool that weren't in the catalog, yeah, that's because they're canceled.
I just ordered Gwenpool 24, which is listed as the start of a new story arc.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens to be a 2-issue story arc, and she's done.
I mean, what Guardians of the Galaxy had their legacy renumbering relaunch that then ended the series within 5 issues, I think. Less? 4? So yeah, that's a company that doesn't seem to know what's going on. Fans are disappointed. I'm a fan of some of the books that are getting canceled, so I'm disappointed. I also understand where Marvel's coming from with it. The sales are not good. Gwenpool, for example, is a book that had 25 issues. I can't imagine any change they could make to it that would add more sales on at this point.
No.
They gave it a shot. They gave it a lot of runway to tell its story.
Yeah, they gave it 2 years.
25 issues, that's pretty good. Hawkeye, which is fantastic, 18 issues. They got to tell their story. Kelly Thompson sort of teasing the idea that this might not be the end for the character or for her work on the character. At the same time...
it was pointed out online that all the books that are being canceled are either a minority, a female, or a queer character. And while they're saying things like, it doesn't look good, Marvel, the books aren't selling.
Yeah, this is a sort of chicken and the egg thing that will always be a problem as long as social media exists. On the one hand, Marvel is canceling these books because the sales aren't there. But on the other hand, Marvel didn't necessarily do a lot to get the sales out there for some of these books. We've talked about this any number of times. It's no good to release a book for an audience if that audience doesn't know the book exists. Like, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
You're only going to get 6, 8, 12, 18, 25 issues. It's never going to be a powerhouse. Ms. Marvel did it. I don't know what's changed in the market since then, but, you know, books like America did not replicate that success at all. People were talking about it, and it seems like there were some fans out there, but...
And that creator did a lot to try to get attention to it.
Yeah, we've talked before about how Rainbow Rowell, who's writing Runaways, spent a lot of time on social media letting all her fans know, hey, I'm doing this comic book, you should go buy this comic book. Joe Quesada was online talking about how this is not simply a matter of, you know, print copies sold. It is also print collections sold and digital comics sold. That doesn't work out super great when you're canceling a book like Iceman before the first trade comes out.
Yeah.
That's
but at the same time,
hard to say.
When people say, well, what about Moon Girl? Why is that still around? Because it does well for them in trade and does well in scholastic markets and things.
Moon Girl, Ms. Marvel, these are books that do well in larger markets. So they'll publish Moon Girl as long as that stays true. Squirrel Girl's the same way. We know several stores have gone onto retailer forums complaining about books like Squirrel Girl still going on, despite the fact they don't sell well in their stores. They sell great for us, and they probably sell great in a lot of markets that are not necessarily rural and suburban comic shops.
Also, who complains about a book still being published? I mean, admittedly, when I'm unpacking books, I'll look at a book and go, oh, is this book still here? Because I have to take it out of a box and count it and do all those things, but I can't... If the book doesn't sell for you, don't order it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of books from DC and Marvel that we don't carry for the shelf. Because we've tried and they didn't sell. Yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, it doesn't look good for Marvel. It's disappointing, certainly. I don't have a lot of problem with them doing it in principle, mostly because I know what those books sell. I know how they sell for us. There's nothing on here on the level that I've seen on the list that they put forward so far, except for maybe Hawkeye, that was on the level of like a She-Hulk. When that thing got canceled, it's like, holy shit, you're costing us a bunch of money now.
Yeah.
That book sold great for us. Hawkeye sells well. It doesn't sell outstanding. It's not a topless sort of book.
Also, you mean She-Hulk when Charles Soule was doing
it? Yeah,
it.
Charles Soule She-Hulk. Sorry.
There's still a She-Hulk currently.
There is.
Which does fine for us.
It does okay. It's not... The art is not great.
No, but I mean, regardless of that, it does fine for us.
It does. But it's not a book that we necessarily hand sell in the same way that were hand selling Charles Soule's She-Hulk.
Right.
And still hand sell Charles Soule's She-Hulk when you have the opportunity.
I pitched it today to somebody, but instead they went for $27.
Okay, that's cool.
It was
I would like to sell out of 27.
Gina started the recommendations, and I took it over.
That's cool.
As you can tell, because she wouldn't recommend 27, and I would.
You would. It's true. You read it. She didn't.
Right.
Some of the problem with what Marvel was doing with the cancellations is that they kind of made it seem more shadowy than they necessarily needed to. Saying, hey, these books are ending, and then doing all of your, this isn't the end for these characters, even Thor's been canceled once, we have a bunch of new titles coming out, is a great way to message it. Making people have to, like, basically stop you in a hallway and shake you for answers is not the greatest way to get that message out. It makes it seem like you have something to hide, or that your message is less than honest. I'm not saying that's true, but I'm saying that's the perception that's given off when people have to kind of hunt this down.
This is one of those things that we really shouldn't say on the podcast, but in a retailer forum that I follow on social media, a commentator had posted an article about these books being canceled and asked specifically a Marvel staff member about them, and their response was just, we never said they were canceled.
Which, of course, they were.
Yeah.
As confirmed by various levels of that company, from creators to editors to chief creative officers.
Yeah,
I mean,
most of the ones that I knew about it was the creators themselves, like Cena Grace posting
why would
on
you...
his social media, hey, this is it.
Yeah. Heather Antos was saying, like, yeah, Gwenpool's done. Or Christina Strain saying, yeah, Generation X, I turned in my last script, we're done. What is the percentage in claiming that that's not true when it's easily verifiable that it is true? Like, that's so strange to me.
Hey, Dal, I never said I killed your mom.
Mm-hmm. I never said that was fake news. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, as a fan, disappointed, but as a retailer, I understand why. It's disappointing because this is the same stuff publishers have to keep going through, because they're doing the good part, which is they're employing, more diverse, realistic, real-world creators from a broad spectrum of different backgrounds and identities.
But queer writer writing a queer character.
But then they're not telling the audience that this book exists. I mean, like, if all we had was people who bought Batman comics, which essentially we do, but let's say for the sake of argument that's literally true, where we only sold Batman comics to Batman fans, it wouldn't do us any good to stock a SpiderMan comic on the shelf, because the people who buy SpiderMan comics don't come to our store. So the thing is, and this isn't just like a local store needs to carry it and like get the word out and promote it, like, the publisher level has to be letting these people know, hey, you don't normally buy Marvel comics because you don't like what Marvel puts out. Here's a Marvel comic you might like. And it's an insanely difficult thing to do, it seems. Like, it seems like no one knows how to do that. So this is complaining on a level, that we normally do, but I don't have any solutions for Marvel. I don't have a way of, like, how do you get those people in the store? I don't know.
Yeah, but you and I are our advertising and marketing department.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole one of those.
Yeah, and I mean, that's obviously the difference is, individual stores have a much smaller marketing budget to promote these titles and have a much wider selection of books that they need to promote. Marvel has Marvel comics to promote, and they have a Marvel budget to promote them with, so this shouldn't be beyond them. Yeah.
I had mentioned that
2018, that's my resolution.
I wish
figure that out.
Marvel would spend less money on all their free catalogs and things that they have stores give out, and just put that toward either lowering their prices or
just outreach, man.
Outreach.
Like,
and of course, I got retailers saying, I love those.
Sure, okay.
You're going to get that no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. It's incredibly difficult to get a consensus from retailers on anything. Witness us complaining about retailers almost every episode of Contest of Challengers.
And that doesn't stop at us. We're retailers, we complain about us.
I complain about what we do all the time. Sure.
Happy holidays from Samantha.
To take Marvel in a slightly positive direction, with this whole Marvel Legacy approach to their books, where they're trying to say, hey, lapsed comics fans, this is what you've been missing.
Sure.
There are a couple of books that I think really do fit that mold. Things like Marvel 2-in-1.
That was really fun.
Get it? Things like?
Wink.
I think that is a book that could definitely bring back people that miss the Fantastic Four.
Could it rekindle a flame in their hearts?
Perhaps. Captain America. How great is that?
Captain America is pretty great right now. It's just very good, strong superhero action adventure storytelling. Each chapter is its own little story, so you can pick up any one and get a full, complete story so far. I mean, that could change with the next issue. And
There was something that came
stuff.
out the same week as Captain America that we had said, boy, if these are the first 2 books of relaunch,
You're right.
how great would that have been?
I can't remember what that would have been. I'm sure it's something on our wallet that we have a bunch of.
And Moon Knight is doing pretty well.
I like Moon Knight.
Yeah?
I thought the first issue was really interesting, and I was curious what people would make of it. And I thought the second issue was a lot more straightforward and really entertaining. And it seems like it's clicking with people.
It's a really great way to take all of the psychological aspects of Moon Knight that have been heightened from the Warren Ellis run, the Cullen Bunn run, the guy after Cullen Bunn, and then
Jeff Lemire?
no, there was somebody else did another arc on Moon Knight
Right
before
after Oh, I don't
before the
remember that
relaunch
at all.
And then the Jeff Lemire stuff,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, I thought it was just Warren Ellis, Brian Wood, Cullen Bunn.
oh, Brian Wood, I didn't say him. That's
Oh,
the
did
one.
you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then bringing it back to a little bit more of a superhero type of book.
Yeah, it would be dumb to just go back to, Mark Spector is a rich dude who used to be a mercenary who now dresses up like Moon Knight and breaks people's knees. Like, that's boring. Like, the stuff that's more interesting is his relationship with Khonshu. The fact that he has dissociative identity disorder. Like, these are things that are way more interesting than just, Marvel's Batman or whatever. Like, that's stupid. That's something that better writers overcame. Or he'll just fight werewolves again. I don't know, man. Either or.
Either way, it works.
I'm fine with both.
But there are books that can appeal to the old school Marvel reader, and there are still the books like Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel that are for the new readers.
Sure. Really thought they should have renumbered Squirrel Girl. Just bump that up by 8 issues.
Yeah, I think so too.
So strange to me. Ms. Marvel, I think, did the same thing. I don't think she's been renumbered, and she had a whole run before the current run.
Yeah.
Like, that ended with
And
Secret
I
Wars.
thought Marvel 2-in-1 should have gone with the new numbering.
Yeah, it's so strange that some stuff like Moon Knight comes back after a hiatus. Not a huge hiatus, but a little hiatus. And it's this crazy high number. And it's kind of distracting because there's a few people who are like, can I start with this one? And it's like, yeah, it's the first chapter. It's a high number. And yet Marvel 2-in-1, no number 1. Okay. The messaging on that is still so strange. It's so arbitrary.
I don't think
what
they
numbers
know.
go up and what's a number 1.
I certainly don't think the creators had any input into that. And
No.
I think it was more the marketing department than editorial in any way.
But again, just the fact that it can be that arbitrary, like, I could not explain to you why some books are the numbers they are, and some aren't. Like, it's just, DC picked 2 books. They picked their oldest 2 books and said, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
Marvel was like, some of them. Okay, some is not a great number.
But not all.
Yeah. Why? Okay. Yeah, this is a thing that I just... And for Marvel in 2018 needs to get way better with their messaging on every aspect of this. It shouldn't be this difficult for them to keep a consistent message across. It shouldn't need Joe Quesada to come in and
who's
talk
not
to fans.
as much involved in publishing,
Yeah.
although he does want to get back in a little bit of helping out, he said.
This is a good use of him, but it shouldn't... This is something that C.B. Cebulski should be doing. This is something that someone higher up the chain... Like, this is the editor-in-chief job, and it's one of the reasons why I honestly thought C.B. Cebulski should just step down, because if he can't do that part of the job because of the Akira Yoshida stuff, why is he there?
Yeah.
The job is not just to, be J. Jonah Jameson sitting in an office yelling at freelancers and putting stuff up on the big board, get me pictures of Spider-Man. It's being able to be the face of Marvel, to be the guy who goes out there and does the Stan Soapbox, Cup of Joe sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was always critical of Axel's ability to do that.
I didn't think he did a very good job of it.
No, and that's why.
Yeah, that was why I always felt like he was maybe not the best fit for that job, because he's probably good at, some aspects of it, but the front-facing Marvel's your friend sort of old-school Stan stuff is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's as big a part of the job now as I think anything else. And it's one of the reasons why I never thought Tom Brevoort would be the guy who'd get the step up, because he's interacted with fans online, and he hasn't done a super great job of it.
So while we're speculating about Marvel, Have you heard the rumors that this upcoming Goblin storyline in Amazing Spider-Man,
Red
10
Goblin.
years in the making, is Dan Slott's swan song on the book?
I heard that, and it makes sense because I think the end of that will be issue 800.
Yeah.
So that's usually as good a place as any to bow out. He's been on it for, a decade now?
Yeah.
Not really a decade, but a long time.
Well, he said 10 years in the making.
Maybe, but he wasn't on that. Well, shit, maybe he
Brand,
was.
Brand New Day was one
in
of
the
the
mix,
first
yeah.
things we were
God, yeah. So
ordering.
Christ, maybe it has been 10 years.
So,
one way or the
or
other.
it will have been 10 years
Yeah.
by the time this is over.
Maybe Zeb Wells can come back and take over when he's done.
That'd be fun.
He did a better job on Amazing than Dan Slott did.
It was fun.
Yeah, I believe it.
Who do you give that book to, though?
Two ways you can go with it. You can promote from within somebody you think is ready for it. I don't even know who that would be at this point.
Robbie Williams.
I mean, Chip Zdarsky's already doing one, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go to a Al Ewing, Chris Hastings, Ryan North sort of guy, but I don't know who else they have that you can give that to. Honestly, probably Mark Waid, if you want to go that direction. He's a guy who I don't really think has done a definitive run on that character, although I know he's worked on that character a few times.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't...
Mark Waid and Chris Samnee on Amazing Spider-Man.
Honestly, if you put Chris Samnee on, I'm really excited. I was going to say, I'm not really excited about the idea of Mark Waid doing Spider-Man. That's an easier way to go, I think, is again, looking to someone interior to give that book to. I think the better solution is essentially the Ta-Nehisi Coates on Black Panther solution. Find somebody big out there. Spider-Man's one of the biggest icons of pop culture. Certainly for the last 100 years. There's got to be somebody out there who hasn't written comics who wants to write a Spider-Man comic book. How hard could it be to find someone big who wants to write Spider-Man?
Say Anything has at least 3 other band members, right?
That's true. What are they working on? I think the two ways you can go with it. And you could always flip that around and basically have some big name come in and do 5 or 6 issues and then hand it off to a Victor Gischler or somebody where you're just like, I don't know, whatever. Here you go.
I don't know. I heard a rumor.
Mark Guggenheim.
I heard a rumor that they're going to bring back Parker Industries, especially in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And the book's going to be written by Akira Yoshida.
That's cool. I mean, no one knows the Pacific Rim better than a native like Akira Yoshida. Yeah, you could make a short list of 5 people at Marvel that could take over the book. I'm fans of a lot of them. I just don't think it would move the needle a lot in terms of where a book like Amazing Spider-Man needs to be.
Yeah.
I don't think, for all of the antagonism that the Dan Slott's public persona has engendered, I don't think that's kept a ton of readers away so much as it's just they're looking for something different and that book has not given it to them.
Oh man, I just thought of who it is and it's such a step down.
Okay.
Christos Gage.
I mean, maybe. I think
he's been co-writing all the major...
Yeah, for years.
Yeah. But that's the same.
Yeah, I mean,
but less.
It could be Charles Soule. It could be Cullen Bunn. It could be... I mean, there's 6 dudes at Marvel that have done a whole bunch of stuff that you could switch them off of one book and onto another like that.
Oh, sure. Peter Parker gets a job in the district attorney's office.
Sure, there you go.
Although why Cullen Bunn would write that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's a total moonshot, but I'd love to see someone like Kelly Thompson get the nod for a book like that.
Oh man, she'd be great.
That's a very big step up. I don't know if Marvel's necessarily going to do that. That's for a mainstream, franchise character like Spider-Man, and a book like Amazing Spider-Man that will have had 800 issues. They might be looking for a longer tenure at Marvel, or someone who's had, again, like a Charles Soule, who they've handed Astonishing X-Men to, that works on Daredevil.
Sure.
That's done Death of Wolverine, stuff like that. I don't know. I'd like to be surprised. I'd like for it to be someone where people are coming in saying, I want that person's Spider-Man book. I don't know what it's even called. I want that.
You can't see, but I was nodding at Al for that one.
Mm-hmm. Noelle Stevenson Spider-Man.
She's too busy rebooting She-Ra.
She wouldn't do it. She didn't do comics anymore.
Right?
She graduated out of comics.
Yeah. At 25.
Sure. Smartest thing she ever did. Nimona's great, won a bunch of awards, but goodness, smartest thing she ever did was, hey, what's going on in animation?
Yep.
Which, I think that was what she was going to school for in the first place.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a career move so much as dabbling in comics, gave her a huge boost in that. And it's fun that you can look at someone who's done a giant, outstanding work like Nimona and, a huge soon-to-be multimedia franchise like Lumberjanes and call that dabbling.
Yep. Dipping her toe in.
Yeah.
Feeling it out.
Did some fun stuff in college. That was about it. Got a real job.
You know, she took a couple of swings at the plate.
Sure.
But now she's going to the majors.
Yeah.
She's getting there.
She's a real princess of power.
Happy holidays from Gina.
So this is our Christmas episode because it's going to go up on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And I believe it was last year or the year before I was told that most other podcasts don't put out content around the holidays.
I can understand that.
However, I got a notification that my favorite podcast, Surviving Creativity, just posted another episode this week, and that's their third one in a row. They haven't had episodes since January of 2016, and even then they were sporadic, but I highly recommend people check them out because it's issues of the day for creators and publishers, but couched in a way that we can all understand it, but they talk about net neutrality. They talk about Patreon. They talk about needing an attorney and having an attorney. They talk about all sorts of different issues, but they make it really entertaining. It's Corey Cassoni and Scott Kurtz, who have been on this very podcast before, and Brad Geiger, and the three of them are highly entertaining. Maybe not super work appropriate.
If you work with headphones on, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's some F-bombs and things. I cringe a little bit because I listen to it in the store when I'm unpacking.
Specifically, listen to it in the young readers' room.
Yes, I do.
So it could not be less appropriate.
But that makes me happy to listen to it.
Sure.
Hey, so somebody came into Sidekicks. I think it was, I don't know, Wednesday or Tuesday or something, and they were asking about T-shirts. And for the first time, I never thought of this. They looked at the shirt and said, "Do you have adult sizes somewhere as well?" And I go, "Yeah, right there." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, those are all just adult sizes." And he goes, "Oh, I thought they're all kids' shirts."
Oh, yeah.
Because they're in the kids' room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We just have nowhere else to put them.
Right. And kids wear shirts, too.
I mean, if we could get rid of all of the top shelf stuff above the action figures, I'd love to move them there, but I have no idea where that stuff would go. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't like the idea.
What's your idea?
On top of the bookshelves.
Oh, yeah, you'd hate that.
I really do. I mean,
do.
just thinking about it, I hate it. But I'm like, they're all boxed. They could just all
hate
go up there.
all of the blind box stuff that's on the back issues.
I don't love it.
Just a matter of space.
Yeah, the joke of it is all the stuff up there is like not stuff we keep in stock. If we could just get rid of it, we would love that. That's where the T-shirts would go. It would solve all those problems. But there's no way to, like, we can't sell it. No one wants it. I guess we could.
Yes, but Dal,
marking all that stuff down.
Were it to go, we'd think, "Oh, people want the stuff."
I would never think that.
And we'd order more.
Look at that. We can't order more DC Universe online statues, Patrick. They don't make them anymore.
Look at this gallery figure, this Sam Wilson as Captain America in-flight statue that came out this week, and I bought, and I love it. And it was like, what, $45, $49?
Yeah, those Diamond Gallery statues are not that expensive.
They're plastic, but it looks great.
Sure. Look at all of those Kota Bakuya Artifacts Plus statues. Those are like $50 to $60 each. They're not that expensive, and they're awesome, and I love them. Even all of the Deadpools.
Even Bizarro.
I like Bizarro a lot. I love the way they did the metallic pants, but he's wearing the inside-out Superman t-shirt, so it's a different texture.
Which is your least favorite? TV Flash.
I wish more than anything they would do a new Supergirl, because I hate that Supergirl costume so much.
Yeah.
The pose is fine. I just wish they would do a new Batgirl and a new Supergirl that matches their costumes for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
So probably those.
Hey, did somebody tell you that Superman's getting his trunks back?
Somebody mentioned that, but I think they thought it was going to happen, not that it definitely was.
Okay.
They just thought it was going to, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. In most of their other media now, he doesn't have trunks. He doesn't have trunks on Supergirl or in Justice League Action. The various action figures that come out supporting those different brands.
Oh man, I don't think I ever noticed that in Justice League Action.
Yeah. In Justice League Action, he has the current DC costume.
That pointed down belt?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the full belt, the red boots, the S, the red cape. He just doesn't have the trunks. which is the current DC costume.
I don't care about the trunks, but I did miss the red boots.
Yeah, it was disappointing that they so quickly went to that. I'm glad they did, but it means that the Kota Bakuya statue that was already in the works couldn't really change direction.
That
so
you
it came
just
out.
got.
Yeah, well, when they announced it, like, they had, I think, just announced the costume change, like, you know, a month before the color version
It's
came
a
out.
small paint change.
Yeah, well, the belt needs to be changed,
Yeah, okay, but I mean, wouldn't you'd be okay with the boots and the wrong belt, though, right?
Yeah, probably.
Even though technically that's an outfit he never would have worn.
Oh, I'm sure they'll do a brand new Superman statue at some point. I don't doubt it. Like, they're doing the new Batman as well, finally. Yeah, I don't think you have to work hard to talk a licensee into doing a new Superman or Batman project.
Sure.
They're more than happy to do that because they sell great.
I had someone looking for stuff for Batman.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, look, here's all these action figures, here is these blind box stuff, here's a t-shirt, and then she bought Hush. I had also recommended Hush,
sure.
But it was...
I had someone who was looking for Batman symbol t-shirt. I'm like, yeah, we've got him in the next trim. But the one he wanted was like...
The yellow oval?
The yellow oval one. And I'm like, they don't really make that one. And they probably do, we just don't stock it.
Yeah.
But he ended up buying the new symbol one.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't like disappointed, but he was like, oh, I wanted the other one. I'm like, this is what he wears in the comic book now, which is why we have it. He hasn't worn that yellow oval one for years.
Long time. Since he came back after Azrael Batman.
I think briefly there was the yellow oval came back. When he had the all-black suit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it came back in that. Because I remember they did like an embossed cover of that.
Okay. Still, that was a long time ago.
So I think just after Legacy, I think is when it changed. Or maybe with
Marvel Legacy? That's weird.
Weird.
We had somebody this week ask for a Green Lantern series that you and I had never heard of.
Oh, yeah, right.
They asked for Green Lantern, was it War on Light?
War of Light.
War of Light.
The War of Light.
And that stumped both of us.
Yeah, I'm like, is that a Venditti one? Like, I had to look it up. Like, is that the New Gods thing you did?
We've had people with Christmas requests getting titles wrong, but then arguing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody wanted Shaolin Cowboy, but called it Shaolin Grandpa. And when I'm like, did you mean Shaolin Cowboy? No, I'm pretty sure it's Grandpa. And I'm like, well, we have the one from Dark Horse. Yeah, it's from Dark Horse. Yeah, it's Shaolin Cowboy. He looks like a grandpa, but a Shaolin Cowboy. Well, I think one of the stories is called Shaolin Grandpa.
Okay, sure.
No, but whatever. And then there was another one immediately right then and there. Another, like, this is not what it's called. But Green Lantern War on Light is retroactively what all of the Jeff Johns work has been called since...
But it's like on the DC Wiki.
Yeah.
Because I guess...
But like since Emerald Dawn 2 up through...
Yeah. Like Rebirth to the end of his New 52 run. Like all of that stuff.
Including his Secret Origins issue.
Yeah, just everything. So it's like, yeah, we got it. It's not one book. It's a lot of books.
And that's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand how comics are made. Yeah. And he just, no, my friend said he wants this War on Light.
Right.
Like, well, we can give you Rebirth, which is technically what you should start with, but...
Your friend has a very greedy Christmas list.
Yeah, it's a huge...
He wants 20 books from you. That's what he's asking for.
We had someone in today who is a regular who asked for recommendations what he should get his daughters, to which I said, I haven't seen your daughters in years. You know them better than I do. I have no idea. So I was not helpful for that.
No.
And then I had somebody call saying, do you have Santa's husband? Sure. You do? Yeah, we got a bunch. You do? Where are you? I'll be right there. And he comes in.
Open the door.
And he said he had called 25 places. Most places either said, oh, we're out of stock, or had no idea what he was talking about.
Sure.
But the second to last place he called was Quimby's. And Quimby said, no, we don't, but you should try Challengers.
Hey, we had it.
So, thanks, Quimby's.
That was nice.
And this guy, I'm like, yeah, it's signed as well. He's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, did you want to buy 10 copies?
Yeah, you can buy as many as you want. We got a bunch.
Well, I mean, he can buy as many as we had.
Yeah, which is a bunch.
So I like when that happens. And oh man, somebody, alright, so there's another one. There's another one today. It was, turns out it's a webcomic about D&D but drawn as stick figures.
Okay.
Like Legend of the Stick.
Okay, sure.
And most of their collections were either kickstarted or long out of print.
Yeah.
So I'm looking it up. And first of all, I'm like, I don't know what this is, sir. So I look it up. I'm like, all right, it's a webcomic. It's never been offered to us. Then I dig deeper. Oh, they kickstarted all their books. Mm-hmm. Like, if you go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble just to see what stock levels are, it's all through third-party sellers, and the books are anywhere from $9 to $35.
Yep.
And like it says, they printed one in 2017, Volume 5, but obviously it wouldn't happen in time for Christmas.
Right.
He's like, just get him beer. I know he likes that.
There you go.
But it was such a like, oh wow, I don't know what this is. Like, oh yeah, nothing that was ever offered to comic stores.
That's why we don't know. No one wanted to sell it to us.
Here's a completely has nothing to do with anything anecdote. It's a Katie Cook story from today. She dropped off her kids at school.
Okay.
And there was a young boy wearing a Yoda hoodie.
Okay.
And she's like, hey man, that's a great hoodie. And he's like, thanks, I love Yoda. She goes, I love Yoda too. And he goes, do you know anything about Yoda? She's like, I know everything. Ask me anything. What race is he? Oh, what? No idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is.
So
I'm sure they mentioned it at some point.
They did not.
No, never did.
They've never mentioned it. So
neat. Okay.
So there's all these people asked, like, she posts it, and somebody's like, "Oh, he's a Will."
No, he's not.
And she said, "Will is a religious group. It's not a race."
Journal of Wills.
Yeah, it's not a race.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, too bad the kid didn't ask you that.
Yeah, right.
She's like, "See, I know stuff about Yoda." The first question totally stumps her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's never Yoda and another member of his race that has been Yodel or something like that. Another Yoda-esque character who's been somewhere.
Waddle? Is it Waddle?
It may be Waddle. Their race has never been said.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a bullshit question. That's like asking, like, what's Yoda's favorite flavor of ice cream? Like, but they never say it.
Right, but like, a 6-year-old doesn't know that. She's like, am I being trolled? Is this a trick question, or did he legitimately want to know?
He wanted to mansplain Yoda to her.
I thought it was pretty funny.
She at that young age, he was already having wrong impressions about women who were into fandoms.
Yeah.
Already, he was like,
she wanted,
prove it.
Yeah, he wanted her to earn it.
Oh, man. Disappointing.
Throughout this episode...
Bad parenting right there.
Throughout this episode, I have peppered in holiday greetings from most of the Challenger staff. So thank you for shopping with us in this year, and there'll still be one more of these this year.
Yeah, I guess one between Christmas and New Year's.
Sure. No idea what it'll be about, but how often...
Probably about being between Christmas and New Year's, I imagine. We'll talk about our Christmases.
How often do we know about what it's about?
Whatever
anyway?
Weird stuff goes on in the store between December 26th and December 28th? I don't know.
And while this is Dal and I signing off for the episode, and we will leave you a holiday greeting from Stan Lee as well. So, Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening.
And have a Happy New Year. Wait, hold on. It can't be a Happy New Year. There's still more of these.
Yeah. You could say have a Happy Christmas.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mean it.
What was the Star Wars special about?
Life Day.
Life Day. You can say Happy Life Day.
But I'm not practicing. That would be inappropriate to Wookiee culture.
You're barely practicing Christmas.
It's true.
And you don't practice New Year's.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really made like much of a pilgrimage to Kashyyyk to really like embrace Life Day as a celebration.
Is there anything you can say about the Allspark?
You know, in the UK Transformers comics, the Transformers did more or less celebrate Christmas.
Was it called Christmas, or was it
called...
called...
Yeah, because it's UK stuff, so it's all, like, it's just Christmas. Like, there's no, like, Happy Holidays. It's just, like...
No, but I meant, like, did it have a Cybertronian name?
No, because they were on Earth, so they were observing human culture. Okay. They weren't, like, Cybertron,
well,
I don't believe... While there have been, even in modern-day IDW stuff, there have been Christmas specials, including a fantastic one where Thundercracker writes a story where he goes to the North Pole and fights Santa Claus, which is insane. Yeah, the only thing they did with the actual robots in space was James Roberts did a story where it was basically like almost a Red Dwarf thing, or a Doctor Who thing, where weird Christmas stuff was kind of occurring, but it wasn't like Christmas. It was just like, oh, we have to put up these lights to ward away some enemy that's coming in, and they happen to look like decorative Christmas lights, or this, pyramid has to go up over here and it looks like a Christmas tree. That kind of thing. It's a lot of Christmas imagery and iconography and symbols, but through the prism of like robots in space. So it's all very tongue-in-cheek.
Well, Dal, you are also on Earth, and you tend to observe Earth culture.
I do, from a distance.
So say what you want.
Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama, in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sled and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and he called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all, as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. When they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sled full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof, as I drew in my hand and was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings. Then he turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Excelsior, true believers! Happy holidays from Stanley."
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.